Greetings and salutations. Welcome back to GameSpot GS Live. We are here with a very special show, not just because I'm here, but because we have an entire couch full of people here. Because we're talking about, you may have seen this man and might have an idea of what we might be talking about, which is Starship Troopers. Here's the team. Let's go down the line because there's 4 of you on this couch. So who are you?
I'm Casper Van Dien. I play Johnny Rico, and oh yes, I just said I know how to do it too.
Rookie mistake right away.
Wow,
Rookie
right
mistake,
away.
Seriously.
Is this thing on? Can you hear me? Okay, good. You can hear me now. You can't hear me when I'm down here. Right? Okay. All right. Casper Van Dien. I play Johnny Rico in Starship Troopers, and now Starship Troopers Extermination.
Damn right.
Do you have that when like you press start in the menu? Do you hear the do it?
We might need to add that in now.
Extermination.
Extermination.
We'll get a feature doc for that. We'll see it. Everybody back home is probably
good.
wondering. It's like, no, don't add that.
Yes, do.
Stop feature creeping. Okay.
Oh no, it's perfect. Thank you so much for that's. I think we're gonna have a great game because of that.
Yes, that's the only reason.
Yeah, consider the feedback. Anyways, down the line, here we go.
Can I go now? I'm Peter Maurice. I'm the project lead for Starship Troopers Extermination.
I'm Chaz Barker. I'm the lead game designer of Starship Troopers Extermination.
You have to say it with the extermination.
Extermination.
There we go.
Yeah. And I'm now much more busy.
Thanks, I'm Gareth Woods. I'm the head of marketing at Awful.
Welcome. It's like seriously, like I'm a big Starship Troopers fan. I'm also a big Paul Verhoeven fan. I think that's something we might have in common.
Yes, I'm a huge Starship Troopers fan. There was one time and moment when I was shooting Starship Troopers in Casper, Wyoming, in a place called Hell's Half Acre. Yeah, Casper, Wyoming. I drove everybody nuts. But I'm sitting there, and there's 1,400 extras, 30 actors with guns, live ammos, 30 stunt people with guns and live ammo. And we're running around. The drop ships are down there, and we're just about to blow up the big plasma bugs. And I look over, and behind the camera, I see Paul Verhoeven, director of RoboCop, Ed Neumeyer, the writer of RoboCop, John Davison, producer of RoboCop, and Phil Tippett, the visual effects genius behind RoboCop. And I looked around, and I went, wait a minute. Peter Weller was #1 on his call sheet, and I'm #1 on this call sheet, so I'm Murphy. And I'd buy that for $1.
Oh my God! There's like the one thing that also the RoboCop game that came out this year too. Peter Weller's stepping back in like that. There's like this theme of Paul Verhoeven made films, coming back in the fold with the star and the original cool guy to come right back in.
Cool guy. I like that. Thank you.
Yeah. But I want to. It's. Something that's so amazing to me about Starship Troopers as a film, specifically, obviously coming from a novel, and there was certain forms of media that are presented visually, but there's a specific iconography I feel like that started with that film, and it's just been that's it. When you think of Starship Troopers, that's what you think of. You think of exactly like the suits from that movie. You think of the bugs from that movie, and now with Starship Extermination, it's like it's just carrying it on, and coming back to the roots with this figure. What is that like? Honoring, that specific look, that specific thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll jump in there. I guess from a marketing perspective, a key thing for us was always trying to recreate the authentic Troopers experience. That was almost the banner statement. So we almost used the movie as a kind of checklist of what are people going to expect to be able to do.
What actors are in it?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Who's still alive? Who's still alive? Who hasn't lost their life in a film or part of the Starship universe? And so it became this kind of list of, this is what people will expect. We still want to exceed their expectations because a lot of people haven't watched more than just the first movie, so they're going to be surprised by all the stuff that's coming. But it became our almost playbook to go, we need to give people the experience that if you, in 1997, watched this movie and like, I want that. I want to be able to do that. And so it was great to have Casper involved and have him see our kind of homework and see what we've done, and for him to react authentically and go, man, this is what it's like. In fact, he actually told us it was more real because half the time they're doing CG and they're following tennis balls around and shooting, the dirt. But now we're actually getting to show him what it was actually like for people to be there on set.
And you're a bit of a gamer.
I'm a little bit of a gamer. My daughter's a better gamer than I am, but I'm going to be re-gaming now. I'm back in the world because I'm going to be playing this. I'm actually playing it tomorrow with my daughter, Grace Van Dien, Bluefeet. We're going to do we're going to get a squad together and go kill some bugs.
The best, you were saying this when you came in, where it's like, we've had Starship Trooper games. Like we've had some real-time strategy games. There was like one first-person shooter, I think, that came out so long ago. And it's like you were saying just like you were like why isn't it there? Like why aren't we not doing more Starship Troopers games? Like what's happening? Like,
Well, it's obviously the fans like it because people keep making games. I mean, there was when Halo came out, I was like, that's why we should have made Starship Troopers and Gears of War. That's why we should have made Starship Troopers and Helldivers 2. Then that's why we should have made Starship Troopers. And now they made Starship Troopers and they called me up and I was like, yes, finally somebody gets me.
Yeah,
They had me at hello, by the way.
yeah. Well, I'm glad.
everyone fights,
It
no
was
one
like
quits.
it honestly was a passion project for the studio from a few developers who just was in love with the franchise and they were working on a different game and they made a mod of Troopers for that game, and then it just took off from there. And then like when I had the opportunity to jump on board, I'm like, Starship Troopers game, it's made in Vancouver, Canada. I'm there. What do you need? Because I was in college when this movie came out, and I fell in love with it then and totally understood Satire. And our whole studio and our team of 30 passionate developers are just so stoked to be working on this game every day.
It's like you know. I kind of think about like technology, obviously, and like the ability to translate the feeling of Starship Troopers. And I think maybe that, I mean, like the real-time strategy games, like they serve a place in which how the game, or the military base and fighting bugs. But it's the thing with Starship Troopers is like the absolute like chaos. Like the movie is so terrifying at certain points. Like you spend so much time developing these characters. You spend so much time like being like, oh, these dudes are badasses. They will do everything they need to like make the mission go, and then they go there and it's an absolute disaster.
A big part of it was obviously having the technology to be able to do this thing right.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Chaz, maybe you want to talk about the stuff with Carnage, and now finally having the technology to do the stuff we want to be able to do.
Yeah, Carnage is this new technology that we've kind of created at Offworld that allows, you know how in most games that you kill an enemy and it disappears, and you're like, all right. Ours don't disappear. They stick around. And now they have to be pathed by other bugs. So we get in situations where the actual, the bugs can pile up against the wall, climb over, get into your base like World War Z type stuff, or like the original movie. And it's just a game changer. It's so much fun.
And you can climb on the bugs, which, it's amazing. Or you can go through the bugs.
You can tunnel through them. It's like, I was saying, it's like a suffocating moment sometimes where you're a trooper on the battlefield, you're 15 friends, and you're off defending the line, and you're killing bugs, and they're piling on top of you, and you slowly start seeing the sky disappear. And you're like, I need a grenade, I need something to get out of there. But it's that feeling that you're probably going to lose the fight, but there's this chance, and the way the design team has built this chance of survival in every match, and the reliance on your teammates is just something I've not experienced in 40 years of gaming.
And it's 16 players.
16 players,
Yeah.
100%, yeah, for now.
You also have the special thing. You also have the special thing you can do where you can meet somebody.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, are we talking about that today?
We're getting the
I don't know.
like,
Are we not
Oh,
talking about?
yeah, well, you're in the game. You're going to be in the game for console launch, and it's a huge part of our game.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get the cue. Sorry.
It was good. It was good.
but 2 winks is tell them.
Who's this person you could meet, huh?
Oh, well, we're bringing back General Rico. We've promoted him back in. We're about 23 years into the future. He's coming back in, and the goal when we looked at this as a team and what we want our solar experiences to be, it was really about, bringing this iconic character back in, but not just to shoot off the one-liners that he's famous for, but also make him meaningful to the players coming into the game and saying, the moment you boot up our game, there's no doubt about it. It's a 16-player horde-based competitive shooter with your friends and strangers you make friends with. But we wanted to land them with the one character that matters the most in the universe, and that's Rico. And you start off with them, and you learn about the bugs. You learn about, and I can't spoil it because I probably will, because I'm notorious for spoiling secrets that we're working on.
No, go ahead. No.
And, but you can jump out, and he'll bid adieu to you. You go out into the main game, but you're more empowered and better prepared for that main game. And then when you come back in, he's there to welcome you back and put you back in harm's way. And you're a trooper. I can't go into details of what type of troopers there
Careful,
are. Yeah, it's gonna be
careful.
fun.
So for me, it was so much fun because I saw these guys. I went in and they were all so excited when I went up there in Off-World. They all had Starship Trooper shirts. Before I even got in there, before they started the movie, they went and rented a theater and got all 120 of them to go watch the movie together. And there's team spirit. I go there, they have all these the toys, books, everything that you can think of, Starship Troopers. And then they would go, hey, they had asked me questions, and then they go, oh my God, so that happened in Starship Troopers? And I go, well, what were you doing? And I go, well, I was doing this, and I was carving this on my gun, and they're like, oh, we're putting that in. They like started putting details in that I'm not supposed to talk about, that I'm giving away. But then also even from Starship Troopers 3, there's a shovel that went through somebody, and they pulled that, I pulled it out. And
Cut his mic.
They had that in
We
there.
have to cut his mic now.
They put in so many cool things. And what I appreciate about that is that they're real fans of the movie. They're really fans of gaming. They appreciate gamers, and they want to make it even more special for them. So it's not just making a game. It's making it so that everybody that is a real fan of gaming and of movies and of Starship and of the lore is going to get an experience that is, it's the best I've ever seen.
I mean, your passion is, we're sitting here and it's like the passion is infectious, but it's genuine. You're able to look around, like, I just keep calling this my grandma's basement that I've turned into my sweet, cool gamer room, but you were just like, where's the Intellivision?
Yeah, I know.
Where's this? Like, where's this? Where's the Commodore 64? At least that's what I want in this place.
But, I love games. I played, I grew up and I had my kids doing that, and then I got into movies and I was doing more of that. My daughter plays games, and whenever I go with her, I'm playing games too, and we're literally going to go play tomorrow, do this. We got some codes, we're going to go and do this and get in there and
not reveal any more secrets.
I give up trying to control him.
It only shows that that it feels like Casper is in it, really in it. Is excited that you said earlier, it's about making sure it feels like it, even if that means the smallest details to those who see it will.
Yeah,
see it
and I have to be honest, one of the most rewarding moments was when we had Casper in the studio and we showed him the trailer that got revealed today for the first time. And all respect to Casper's acting abilities, I didn't feel there was any acting. It was this honest reaction. I keep comparing it to seeing my kids seeing commercials for Christmas toys and being like, oh, I want that one, I want that one. It was this real feeling of, oh, you did that and you put that in it. And I guess the story about the music as well. We didn't even know, so we put the trailer, the Scorpions, Rock You Like a Hurricane was the title track. And Casper then tell us this immediate reaction that it was the first album he ever bought. And we didn't even know that. It was just this serendipitous moment.
I did one of those, when you buy a penny and you get 10 albums and then you have to buy them. So I put in, and it was the 10th album I picked was Rock You Like a Hurricane, the Scorpions, Love for Sting. So, and that album came, that cassette came, excuse me, it was the cassettes, 1 penny for a cassette back when I was a kid. And I got in so much trouble from my dad for doing that, but that's the first one that came, even though I had ordered a whole bunch of different ones, Van Halen, Journey, all these other things, but they came. I'm so thrilled to be, when they say, it was a genuine experience when I watched this, because Johnny Rico joins up the military because of a girl, and then he becomes a really good soldier, and he knows, now I'm good at something. And he wants to get the mission done, and he wants to be a good soldier. Well, he's had an arc through the series, and not everybody's seen that and everything. But in this, reading the script that he sent me, that he wrote, I went, Ed Newmeyer, who wrote RoboCop and Starship, would be so proud of him for what he wrote. And I went, the journey that you've taken Johnny Rico on to make him this guy that was a great soldier, now he's the best of the best, but his mission, even though he wants to get it done and complete, his mission is still, and even more so now, about bringing the mobile infantry back with him. He doesn't want them to die. So I like that he has more compassion for his troopers. And so you have 16 people you're going to be working for. You're all trying to get back together. You have to work together to do this. You're going to die, and you're going to come back as another trooper. You're going to have all these things. But it's exciting for me. That's fun. I want to do that. I don't want to just, kill them, forget about them, whatever. Yeah. It's meaningful. You want people. And even more so, they have another thing. I'm going to give another secret. It's called
just plug your ears.
Sugar Watkins he was Seth Gilliam played him. He's on The Walking Dead, but he at the end goes, I go, what are you trying to do, Trooper? He goes, just trying to kill some bugs, sir. And then he blows them up in the nuke at the end of the movie. Well, they have a Watkins trigger in here. If you're going to die, you can blow yourself up and save people. They have and they called it the Watkins trigger. Yeah. They honor it. They honor the movie. And they get gamers. Gamers are going to go nuts for that because they're going to be like, hey, you see that I love playing games too, and they love playing games. So that's the coolest thing in the world.
Well, that's the other thing you'd mentioned. Like understanding the message of Starship Troopers and kind of like its satire. And when you're bringing this back and you're bringing in, things that are canon, things that like this is going to, you're clearly like really in the weeds of it. Like how are you developing that or honoring that sort of like viewpoint, the things that that film was trying to say?
I mean, for me, it's all about. I mean, personally, it's all about the absurdity of war, right? It's just in the insanity of what the humanity is doing and how they're fighting this war, and the humor comes from the gameplay experience in our game, right? It's not about a massive budget of this big set piece that only happens once. Every time you play our game, something crazy happens, and it's this humorous like death sequence, and someone's killing this thing and gets completely destroyed, and you're just about able to save them and just about able to extract, and you're using all the authentic weapons from the game, and it just feels like you're in the movie. I know people say that all the time about IP games, but this is the first game that I've played and I've helped design that actually does feel like that. Like it's this really joyous experience about being kind of overwhelmed, but just hanging on enough. And we've got 6 classes, you progress through them, and it just unlocks more and more toys to play with and to destroy this bugs. Everyone loves killing bugs. It's just in our brains.
How do you even balance 16 players and what you said 4 classes? 6 classes. Okay, 16 players, 6 classes. Like, how are you doing crowd control on knowing
I have a team of designers who are playtesting twice a week with 16 players, which is a lot of dev time.
Yep.
But we play and we live this experience, and it's not a job. It's a privilege. It's a privilege, right? Like, and so, yeah, for me, it's just a matter of like, we just keep on adapting, and we have a community, we're early access, right?
Yes,
like, so
right,
we rely on that community to tell us like, this is broken, this is too hard, this is too easy. And that's a huge strength of our business, right? Like we wear that with pride, and we are always releasing this game, and we always will be, right?
Yeah.
There's 1.0 is just 1.0, and then it's going to be 2.0 and beyond. But that's our milestone in the sand right now. So I'm excited.
Tell them about when you first saw Starship Troopers.
When I was
I love how this is like a big. I love how this is like a big, like sort of like nostalgic moment where like all of us are just like geeking out and being super excited.
I was 16, and it was the first movie that I was like, I just went back immediately and saw it. Like I needed to see it again.
Twice with no money.
And I had, I was 16, I didn't have any cash. And it's just one of those things where you're like, it was just that good, and I told all my friends, and I was obsessed with it. And I was a huge Paul Verhoeven fan as well, huge into B movies. And so it's just it's a dream come true to just, it's luck of the draw. It just get the opportunity to work in Vancouver with this amazing team and with the man himself.
It's kind of funny because everybody on our team has a different experience when they saw the movie the first time. And I was sharing last night at dinner. I said, like, the first time I saw it was in French.
Okay.
And I barely understood it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I barely understood it. I'm an English Canadian, but barely understood it. But I understood the satire of it. I understood what he was going for. Then I immediately, soon after it came out in English, I watched it in English, and I watched it probably all 5 movies, and that one included probably over 100 times.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, it was like my dad is a huge nerd, but when he saw this film, I was 7, so maybe a little too young. But my dad was always like, he was like, this is one of the most important films ever made. He's like, everyone should see this film. Like they have to, like, even all the way to like Paul has done this in his other films like RoboCop, but like even like the fluidity of like gender is just existing in a space and just like working together, and it doesn't, as is. Sorry, you're gonna
No, 100%. I agree with you. 100%. Your dad sounds like a genius. But also, I mean, the inclusivity Starship Troopers has always been. It's always about inclusivity and trying to bring the troopers back. It's not like we don't care. Kitten dies, I go crazy. Shinjumi go. I'm trying to fight for all these people. We keep losing everybody, and that's the absurdity. That's the satire in it. But the satire in this is not lost in it at all. And unfortunately, sometimes the satire is still, in this political climate today, it's still even more prevalent than it was even back then. But it has been for this long. That's the genius of Paul Verhoeven and Ed Neumeyer. And they're both geniuses. So your father got it like that. I'm not joking around when I say it. Some people didn't. But the English all did, by the way. It was just like they had in the tubes when I was going there, they had like, war, it's war! All these posters all down the tubes and tunnels, everywhere you went in the subways. It was just unbelievable. Their propaganda was just delicious.
Like on point.
Yeah, it was on point. It was like, because I didn't understand how anybody could miss it. And I'll tell you this, today's audience, the young kids that have seen Starship Troopers now, they go, there's no way anybody missed that. That's because
You would think.
but
But
back
that's like
then
that's
it
like
did.
the poet, like that's like the beautiful poetry of that film, and like I know it's like the novel, of course, but like even RoboCop and like the ability to like, I don't know, it's all I know is that it's kind of mind-boggling to think that it wasn't as like plain and simple to a lot, but I do think, to its credit, like it's one of those things where I do think it can work really well with younger audiences, like purely just as like an over-the-top,
Yeah, and to be honest, that's an important part of how we've tried to honor the IP.
Yeah.
But we've also got to work on a game that's still fun for people who don't know what Starship Troopers is. And if that becomes their entry drug to then watching the movie and getting reabsorbed into the IP, that's great. But we're still trying to make a kick-ass game that you would enjoy just on the merits of it's a 16-player co-op game, horde shooter, tick all the boxes that you would want in a game. And you're excited to play it. So we're trying to honor it, but still not overly rely on the IP as the only way to sell this game.
Well, and mission accomplished. You guys did such a great job. They did. I mean, I'm so proud of it because I literally I watched all these other games come that were like Starship Troopers or
clearly inspired. You know,
clearly
like, would
inspired.
not exist without.
Yeah,
know?
100%. So I've always gone, why don't they just actually make the game that inspires all these other games? And now they did.
Yeah.
And they let me be a part of it. And I feel so honored and proud to be a part of it. And they treated me with so much respect and reverence. I was up there and I just couldn't believe how kind everybody was and how thoughtful. And the attention to detail, I cannot stress it enough.
Give us another one.
Yeah, I should. So there's.
I'm
trying to think what's safe to say.
Definitely going to kill your character off in season 2.
You will be hated. You will be hated.
I mean, it's like you've mentioned, it's ongoing. It's been in early access. You know, it's like we've been able. We have some games that have existed that are, you know, clearly inspired. You know, clearly trying to do this thing. But there is something exciting about knowing that this is going to be ongoing, and you know. Is there anything you're really, like, going into season 2, like, is there anything you can tell us? You know, like the intention, like the roadmap of what we're going to be expecting.
This guy leaks more than me.
So we do have a public roadmap, a living roadmap that we've had and shared with the community for over a year, and we continue to update it. So we have a robust roadmap. We have plans to go well into the future, at least 5 years worth of content. And we have a great partnership with Sony TriStar, like very collaborative on where we want to take the franchise, what new things we want to add, what, you know, things from the existing movies we want to bring in. Like we just, in one update, we brought the Bombardier bug in. That's from movie 3. Obviously, we're bringing the tanker bug in soonish.
Whoa, this is the first time you said that.
No, it's coming. That one's publicly out there.
I was going to mention. I was going to ask, like, you know, about those different bugs.
The tanker will be coming to our game in the near future. We've got big ideas for other technologies coming into the game that, like, you know, our community is great. We have an open dialogue with our community on both Discord, Steam, Facebook, X, and, you know, we tend to, you know, look at what they want.
Yeah.
And what we want to add to the game, and the roadmap is a very long one. We massage it a little bit. We change when we want to drop things in based on the community sentiment and stuff like that. But we plan to support this for many, many years to come.
Well, we do have to wrap it up, which is a travesty. Absolutely, it's just like, absolutely. I can't believe we're doing it.
I'm gonna give you
Oh my God.
a challenge coin. This is Johnny Rico's
Holy
challenge coin. I want you to have
shit.
it. So here you go. Death from
Woof.
Before we wrap it up.
I just like.
Before we wrap it up, I want you to
My
have that.
soul just like got up and like I don't know who I oh my God.
You know, do you know about challenge coins? Usually they give them to the guys in the military, and I always try to do that to military guys. But this is my Johnny Rico one. So there you go. So Death from Above. Welcome to Roughnecks.
Well, thank you. I can,
You'll have to come play with us.
I can die a complete man. So thank you very
soon,
much.
though,
Yeah. So when is it officially? You know, when are we going to be able to put into 1.0?
We're exiting early access on October 11th, 2024, so really soon.
And if you go in early access and you get to play with him, he gives out secrets all the time. and sometimes he's lying, but most of the time he's not. He just does it because he wants people to he wants to trick him. But he gives out
No,
secrets.
not at all.
So if you find him, I'm just giving you another secret that's true.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to change my voice now and again.
Yeah, it won't work.
Obviously, we just want to remind people it's on console because people have been asking forever.
Yes, yeah, 100%.
And it will be crossplay. So
Crossplay.
you can
Awesome.
play with your buddies wherever they are.
16 of them. Well, this has been a life-altering moment, so thank you very much for being here. You're watching GameSpot. You're watching GS Live. We just had a fantastic interview about Starship Troopers Extermination, but please stay tuned because it doesn't end there. We have tons of things, tons of people to talk to, tons of games, and even a day tomorrow to talk to even more games and all that jazz. So just, hang out with us here at GameSpot. All right. Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to the
Wow,
Roughnecks.
we're just going down this whole thing. All right. See you later.